Hey guys, welcome back into Legacy. I kind of got hit with the muse this week and wanted to do a bonus video this week. And I have to ask the question that I think is on a lot of minds in the RPG community as a general rule. Um, are you kind of sick of D&D? Are you sick of Dungeons and Dragons? And I don't mean the role-playing industry for standing in for the role-playing industry. I'm talking about the actual game Dungeons and Dragons. Have you burned out on Wizards of the Coast nonsense? Have you burned out on Fifth Edition? Have you burned out in general on the idea of D&D? And if you have, this video is exactly who I'm aiming it for, because there is a plethora of great RPGs out there that are fantasy based, that are not D&D, that do similar things, and will scratch the itch that you have without the need to imbibe anything you don't care for, whether it be because of the company, because you don't like the way the D&D rules are, anything in between. There are games that can scratch that itch, and I just kind of want to go through a couple of them. I'm not going to go through a ton of them. There are literally probably hundreds of them that I could go through, but just go through a couple of them and talk about a couple of them. Some of these are games I have firsthand experience with. Some of them I have been recommended by other people, uh, for sure. And just want to talk about a couple of different games and kind of direct you to the idea that if you are tired of D&D, if you really are tired of Dungeons and Dragons, or you are tired of Wizards of the Coast, or you are tired of the Forgotten Realms, or whatever part of D&D you're tired of, there are alternatives for you that can let you do what you want without having to, uh, play D&D. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. So I'm just going to start off with a little couple quick hits here. The first one I'll mention, of course, is the big one in the market right now, which is Shadow Dark. I have no personal firsthand experience with Shadow Dark, but every person that I've interacted with that has played Shadow Dark loves it. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I swallowed some dust or something. That was awkward. Um, but so everybody I know who plays Shadow Dark loves it. They love the mechanics, the torch mechanics, the exploring mechanics, the old school feel of Shadow Dark. They very much enjoy it. If you're not aware, there's a lot of third party materials being written for Shadow Dark. Kelsey has, I think inadvertently, I think she wanted just to make a good game. She inadvertently made a game that has really kind of hit the mark, no pun intended, at all. When talking about fantasy RPGs, uh, on what people are looking for in an authentic fantasy role playing experience. Um, I need to play it myself. I will eventually get around to it, but as of right now, I can say with some level of clarity, not complete clarity, but some level of clarity, if you are looking for a newer game that just has come out recently, last couple of years, that is going to scratch your itch for fantasy role playing with that old school feel that is not D&D, absolutely look into Shadow Dark. It should not disappoint. Um, like I said, she is Kelsey's done a great job. I cannot commend her enough for creating Shadow Dark. I can't. Second game I'm going to mention. This one I do have personal experience with. I've run it quite a bit. OSE, Old School Essentials. Another game very similar to Shadow Dark. Great set of rules. Clarifies a lot of BX, early first edition type rules. Makes them more playable. The layout is great. It's easy to understand. Um, does not overbear its rules with superfluous rulings. Really leaves a lot to the GM and players to determine how things should happen. Uh, it is a very good game. It's very well supported. Necrotic Gnome supports it very well. Personal opinion for it, one of my personal opinions about it, is the Carcass Crawler magazine. Every issue is worth having. I have every issue, and they're all worth owning, every last one of them. Um, that is just a good game. It is a smart game. If you're looking for a game that emulates, like I said, BX very well, OSE is going to be up your alley. Uh, very old school feel. I mean, it's appropriate for games. Another good game. Don't have a lot of first hand experience with. Know some people have run it. Really enjoy it. It's a really good hex crawler, and that's Forbidden Lands. Forbidden Lands uses a variant on the Year Zero engine by Free League. which automatically puts it way up on my list because I'm a huge Free League fan. But they have done some really good work in that game. If you are wanting to play a hex crawl survival type game, you won't miss with that game. You really won't. Uh, the Year Zero rules are really pretty simple to use, pretty easy to use. Um, Characters are uh, they're not superheroes by any stretch of the imagination. That's a big selling point for me. So if that's something you're looking for, uh, I can't get too deep into this. Like I said, I don't have first-hand experience with it. I use a lot of my experience from Forbidden Lands comes from third parties, but everybody I know that's played it absolutely adores it. It is one of those games that will scratch that itch for you. Uh, Another good game. It's actually a retro clone, Oscric. I have run Oscric. I've played that Oscric. Pretty much, if you're a D&D player that wants to play first edition, but you can't get your hands on the first edition rules for whatever reason, they're expensive, they're not available, whatever. For whatever reason, just grab Osric. It is going to give you the best experience for first edition without having the actual first edition books. Osric is a really good game. There's not much more to say other than the fact that it is a straight first edition retro clone and is generally considered what started the OSR movement. Um, it is just really good. It's really well crafted. It's well laid out. Guy that wrote it and put it together is a really good dude too, which is a bonus for me. He's a really good dude. Um, and I have nothing negative to say about the game at all. Like I said, it's also really awesome if you're one of those people that wants to play first edition but doesn't want to carry around multiple books. Just pick up Osric. You really just need the one. Now you have two books now, but you used to only have one book for it. It's just so simple to play, so easy to get into, and I think the PDFs are pay what you want right now. So there's that. Uh, some other games that are out there. Dragon Age and Fantasy Age. They use the same system. They don't use the Chronicle system. They use the Age system. Uh, Immense amounts of experience with Dragon Age. Dragon Age is an incredible game. Great simulation of the video games. Feels like you're playing the actual video game on tabletop. Characterization is extremely flexible. Rule set is super simple. Everything uses the same core mechanic, which is a 3d6 roll plus bonuses. It is not hard to get into. The only problem with Dragon Age, this is why I said Dragon Age / Fantasy Age, Dragon Age is no longer in print. So it is going to be steadily getting harder to get your hands on because you can't buy it. Um, like you can, but you can't. If you can still find a copy of it, try to pick it up. If you can't find a copy of it, don't be shocked. You may have to go somewhere like eBay and stuff to find it. Fantasy Age Second Edition uses the same rules. In fact, Second Edition is the Dragon Age rules, but cleaned up. The cleaned up rules for Second Edition. They fixed a couple of minor issues. It's a generic version of Dragon Age of the Age system. Doesn't have the setting stapled to it. It does have a setting stapled on it, but it's not Thetis. It's not Thetis. It's not Fair the Lin, Orlais, and all that. Um, it's got its own little setting, but it does encourage GMs. You can create your own world. It's pretty simple to create your own races. It's pretty simple to create your own specializations for classes. Super great game. Very approachable, and I cannot recommend it enough. Another good one that I can throw at you, Dragon Warriors. I'm doing the deep dive on Dragon Warriors. I honestly, if I get going, I won't stop. Dragon Warriors is one of those games from the 80s, surviving into today, thanks to Serpent King Games. Um, that absolutely flies under the radar of almost every fantasy player and does not get love that it deserves. Simple mechanics, deep, complex world, lovely character design. Uh, the game comes in one book. You get the core book. That's all you really need to play. It is pretty well supported considering how small it is. They do have a magazine for it as well. I can't remember the name of the magazine right now for the life of me. But they have a magazine for it. They they have a companion for the core book that has new classes. There's an amazing amount of support for the game, uh, written adventures and everything. You will not run out of material for that game if you get into it. You want a lot of information about that. Really seriously, watch my deep dives on it. It's pretty significant as far as I'm concerned. I think it's significant the fantasy RPG realm because it quietly floated under the radar when it came out because it was only published in the Anglosphere. Since it's come out worldwide through Serpent King Games, it's actually seen a little bit of growth. Still not huge, but it has seen some growth, especially from American players, Western players, outside of the UK and UK adjacent areas. You see a lot in Central Europe and the UK. America has grown a little bit as that game became available in those areas. So great, wonderful game. Dragon Warriors is definitely up there as far as fantasy RPGs. Lamentations of the Flame Princess. This is a give me. If you're not playing Lamentations, Lamentations, I will say, is not for everyone. James Raggi, uh, he does put a lot of things that you could consider edgelordy in his games, but the game itself mechanically is solid. It's very well written, very well designed. The core book is very small. You can get it for free without any art um, for the core book. Uh, Stupidly well supported. Tons of in-house stuff directly through Lamentations, but there's also a lot of third-party stuff that has been made for Lamentations as well. It is probably one of the better supported OSR games, I would argue. Shadow Dark is up there as well. It's in that same vein. Just people are writing for it. It is incredible. Some of the better source books I've ever read. You know, Red Pleasant Land, Vornheim. You have Ferventum. Uh, there's just too much good stuff to talk about, honestly. It is just a great game. Characters are easy to play, easy to design. It's not complicated, and it absolutely will take you places you would not expect to go with a fantasy RPG. So if you're not playing Lamentations, like I said, it's kind of a gimme. Most people know about it, but it is definitely worth checking out if you're one of those players who's just kind of tired of D&D. It is D&D-esque, but with a nice twist. Another good one comes from one of my favorite designers, Robert J. Schaub, which is Shadow of the Demon Lord, Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Uh, have not gotten to sit down and play Weird Wizard yet. Have significant time invested into Demon Lord. Similar systems, almost identical systems. I think there's some tweaks in Weird Wizard, uh, both to make the game less grotesque, I guess would be the term. From Demon Lord, Weird Wizard is Demon Lord without it being as grotesque and dark. Um, and also to clarify some of the rules and things that were in Demon Lord that could use some polishing. But Demon Lord is a great game. Again, characters are really fun in that game. It is not a complicated game. It uses 1d20 for its mechanics and d6s for everything else for the most part. It is not going to be one of those games that just confuses you from the get-go. The world, implied world for Demon Lord in particular, is incredibly weird and dark. Very, very incredibly well crafted. Uh, Schaub in that game, I think, shows off. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Shows off his design chops. He proves with that game that he is one of the better designers in the industry, and has been in the industry for a long time. But he really has proven he's a really competent designer. Since leaving Wizards, he's proved that. On the same vein, he also wrote Song of Ice and Fire, which is one of my favorite games. Another great fantasy game. Has a stapled on world, of course, and Westeros and Westeros. Um, but the game mechanics are awesome. Uses the Chronicle system. It is a dice pull system. Very fun game. The house in the game becomes a character, a living, breathing character. You interact with the events of the books, Song Ice and Fire books, uh, using your own created house. How you respond to those events is independent based on your characters and your players and who the house is associated with and everything else, because they're typically a minor house to a more major house. But just absolutely wonderful game. It encourages all kinds of different gameplay. It encourages combats. It encourages intrigues. It encourages mass combat. It really covers the gambit and really does capture the feel that Martin was aiming for when he wrote Game of Thrones. Even though I have personal issues with Martin himself, his game, his world is pretty well crafted, pretty well done, and his characters can be pretty complex. which makes them very fun to interact with because it encourages the game master to actually go in and introduce major characters to the players to interact with. Um, like at a tournament, you can throw Loris Tyrell into a tournament. You can bring the king to a major event. You can bring Robert to a major event. You could have them run into the spider. All those things can happen. So, which is really cool and really neat. And the last one I want to mention, because I don't want to take this video too long, is going to be RuneQuest. Greg Stafford. That's really all I have to say. Um, been around since the 80s. Great, wonderful game based off of PRP. Uh, super complicated as far as rule set goes, but well worth the investment in the rule set. RuneQuest is great. I love RuneQuest. There are tons of different games types you can play in RuneQuest. The world of Glorantha is absolutely amazing. You literally just it just has so many options to how the game plays. The rune system is really neat. Very intuitive, very innovative, not intuitive, innovative. Sorry, I almost used the wrong word there. Innovative, very, very well thought out. Um, in general, RuneQuest is just always worth checking out. Some other games that got thrown at me that I haven't had a chance to check out myself, and I don't have a lot of experience with. Valorius, heard good. I've actually heard a little bit about Valorius. Don't know much about it, and that it's neither here nor there on honestly. But Valorius is up there. Um, definitely want to look at. Uh, there's a couple other games out there. You could use some generic systems like GURPS. GURPS Fantasy is not a bad system, as long as you don't put too many options into the game. GURPS Fantasy is really good. Fantasy Hero. Like I said, I could keep going, guys. Those are just 3 honorable mentions. Without getting into them too much. But those are great games, and like I said, guys, if you are looking for an alternative to D&D, if you are looking for an alternative to, stock fantasy, everybody wants to play D&D, and you want your group to try something new, but they really like fantasy or whatever, these games are good places to start. Uh, really look, man, they are out there. There are new companies popping up all over the place. Quasi-Real published Mythcraft, which we ran for a little while. Group kind of fell apart. Nothing personal against the group, so life got in our way. It's really what happened. There's Dragonbane by Free League. Really just dig. There are tons of games out there that you can play that are fantasy based, that are unique and amazing. So, anyways, guys, if you have a game that you like that's fantasy, it's not D&D, by all means, drop it in the comments. I'll be happy to check it out because I'm always looking for new games. I love looking at new games. I'm guilty of being a system collector. So, all that being said, guys, welcome thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. And as always, guys, we hope you have fun and we hope to see you guys around the game table at some point.